Coming up, Colombia's Sara Lopez is aiming for a record 6th World Cup crown. And Mr. Perfect, Mike Schlusser, goes looking to create history with gold in Yankton. ...2021 has seen a wonderful Hyundai Archery World Cup season. The world's best compound archers have gone head-to-head in Guatemala City, Lausanne and Paris. And now, the race to be crowned #1 has reached its final stage. The Hyundai Archery World Cup Final in Yankton, USA. We begin with the women's event, featuring the top 8 archers from across the season.
Natalia Avdieva, Russia.
Andrea Becerra, Mexico.
Paige Pierce, United States of America. Toya Ellison, Slovenia.
Savannah Vanderweer, United States of America. Sara Lopez, Colombia. Tanya Galantine, Denmark. Nora Valdez, Colombia.
4 fantastic quarterfinals lay ahead. In the opening quarterfinal, a tight contest was predicted between Denmark's world #2, Tanya Galantine, and former world champion Natalia Avdieva of the Russian Archery Federation. But it was the Danish top seed who comfortably clinched a semi-final spot.
Galantine only needed a 7, she's put it into the 10.
The winner of the second quarterfinal would face Galantine in the last 4, and Slovenia's Toya Ellison proved too strong for Andrea Becerra of Mexico.
A 10 requirement from Toya Ellison. Put straight in the middle.
There was plenty of home interest in the third quarterfinal as the USA's wildcard, Savannah Vanderweer, took on Colombian favourite Nora Valdez. And this one would be decided by a single arrow shoot-off.
Drifted off into the 9, and Nora Valdez is through.
It was a fantastic matchup in the remaining quarterfinal. The USA's world #8, Paige Pierce, was up against world #1 and newly crowned world champion, Sara Lopez. And the Colombian never looked in trouble.
A 5 is all that's required for Lopez to keep the dream alive, and she gets another 30.
With such a strong semi-final lineup, it was difficult to predict who would reach the gold medal match. The first semi-final was an all-European clash, and it was Toya Ellison who started with more consistency than Tanya Galantine. And there was no drop-off in form from the Slovenian, who booked her place in the final.
She finishes in style with a third consecutive 30.
One Colombian archer was assured of a place in the gold medal match, but which one? Nora Valdez and Sara Lopez met in the second semi-final. And Lopez, going for a record 6th World Cup crown, looked in imperious form.
Super fast. I think all 3 of those hit the X, and that's a perfect 30.
The world champion never gave her opponent a chance to get back into the match.
8 for the win. And it's another perfect.
Nora Valdez had the chance to put that disappointment behind her straight away when she faced Tanya Galantine in the bronze medal match. But the Dane started strongly and never looked back as she claimed a podium spot.
Quick shot, drops it into the 9. It doesn't matter. It's a 1-4-7 from Tanya Galantine of Denmark.
The gold medal match at the 2021 Hyundai Archery World Cup final featured Colombian star Sara Lopez, who was looking to make history by winning a remarkable 6th World Cup crown. But standing in her way was a formidable Slovenian opponent in the shape of Toya Ellison.
Time for the second end of this gold medal match. Sara Lopez shooting first, all square between her and and Ellison, and Lopez drops into the 9, only just, but look at the flags in the background. The wind has picked up. Oh, right on cue, and that goes into the 9.
I think she was happy with that, given the conditions. She was holding a little bit longer, trying to keep that dot on the middle, and you know, the conditions are really playing the part here. The first end was just still as anything. Now we're going to see who can hold it together.
So, bit of a lead now for Ellison. And 3 9s, a 27 for Sara Lopez, gives her a 57. Chance for a 2-point lead here with a 10. Tops it in the 10, and the 29 from her. Handled the conditions better, or perhaps just benefited from not being quite so gusty on every single one of the shots. Ellison leading 59-57 against Sara Lopez of Colombia. Lopez to shoot first in the 3rd, straight into the 10.
You got it, babe. Good, strong shot. Make sure everything's good to go.
Can't imagine having that camera in your eye line as you're at full draw, as it glides past you, trying to keep all your attention aiming on that spot. Incredible focus. So straight back there. She looked so strong in the first end, and apart a bit in the second, but good recovery.
Yep. Everything's hanging 1 foot high.
Back to an incredible group for Lopez, a 30 for her. Longer hold. Oh, what a shot from her though. Another perfect 30. She's dropped just 1 point here. So still a 2-point lead for Ellison. Lopez will shoot first in the 4th. She'll want to get 1 point back at least in this end.
You got it. Good, strong shot. Nice and easy. Everything good and go.
Just watch out for any movements. A bit of attention.
Yep.
Good, that head nod. She knows what that feeling is. She knows as soon as it went, it was in the 10.
Make sure everything is good to go.
I don't think I've seen Toya as confident as this before, with such good reinforcement between shots. It's normal to be nervous. It's about how you handle those nerves, and she has got it's all right now.
What a beautiful grouping again though from Sara Lopez. Is she going to pay for not handling the wind in the second end here? A little bit of movement. You saw a little wince there, 29. So Lopez has got 1 back in this end. Ellison leading still, but just by that single point. Trailing by 1, Lopez shoots first in the 5th and final end. 3 arrows left for each of the archers. She didn't look happy with that at all.
So now it's a quick process, straight in the middle. She's been shooting those good shots. It's all about whether Toya can handle these nerves. So far she has, but there's definitely movement here. There's twitching, there's nerves.
You're good.
2 arrows to go for each arc.
Good, strong
All
shot. Nice
square, 2 arrows to go.
Make sure everything's lined up and go.
Sara's going to relish this. She knows what to do.
You got it, babe. Good, strong shot. Nice.
Pressure switches straight over to Ellison. And she's dropped it. Lopez can take the title here with another 10. And she's done it. What a tremendous performance from Sara Lopez. She was up against it, but she's taken this one. She's put it out of reach. Ellison with her final arrow pops it into the 9 for a 27. The nerves got to her in the end. A 1:45 is not a bad score, but history has just been made here in Yankton as Sara Lopez of Colombia collects her 6th Hyundai Archery World Cup final crown here in 2021.
Estoy muy feliz. Esta era el final que esperábamos para una muy buena semana que tuvo mi equipo. No soy capaz de entender lo que acaba de pasar. Estoy muy emocionada. Fue una final muy reñida, pero gracias a Dios las cosas se me dieron y felicito a todas mis contrincantes porque dispararon excelente.
And this is how things finished up in the women's compound. Sara Lopez top of the pile again. With all the placings there. Avdieva, last time silver medalist, down in joint 7th place. A brilliant tournament though, especially if you're from Colombia.
Still to come, the top 8 compound men go head to head, but only one can take gold in the Hyundai Archery World Cup final. Braden Gelantine and Mike Schlosser have been 2 of the world's best over the last decade. Having contested the final 2 years ago in Moscow, they return to the arena again in Yankton.
I think rivalries are something that have always existed in sport, specifically archery. It's strange because a lot of times our tournaments are straight score tournaments where you're competing against an entire field of people. Match play brings about the potential for rivalries, yes. Chris Schaff, Jimmy Lutz, Mike Schlosser, Dave Cousins, Rio Wild.
Friends like Chris, we like shoot a lot against each other, and used to be like Stefan as well. So like I think in general, like just competing against each other, it eventually becomes a rivalry.
When you're training, you're able to say, okay, this is a situation where they wouldn't miss. I need to get to the level where I won't miss either. I think his mental approach is bar none one of the best out here. He's very comfortable with himself, his ability, and his performances.
Like he's been on the top for like many years. So like, even though like maybe it has kind of a conventional way of shooting sometimes, like it works for him, and he found something that works for himself.
It's time for the gold medal match here at the 2019 Hyundai Archery World Cup final.
I think like the World Cup final is something really special. It's like probably the biggest tournament of that year. You need to give a lot to be a top archer, and sometimes those like wins kind of make everything worth it.
Yes, anytime you shoot against Mike, you need a good score to win, and I assume that other people probably feel the same when they shoot against me as well. And whenever I go against Mike, it's basically a match of who blinks first, and then the other guy doesn't let up.
And a perfect score from Braden Gelantine as well.
The battle in archery is self-doubt, and it's something like a lot of people have in daily life. I had a while that I didn't enjoy finals because I was afraid for what was going to happen, so I changed my mindset and just try your best and make the most out of it and enjoy it. Since I've been doing that, my finals are getting quite drastically better than what they were.
Well, the first drop point from Braden Gelantine, second arrow.
I shot amazing. I had a hiccup in the finals. Mike took advantage, he smelled blood, and he never let up.
Another perfect score.
Well, you can see my performance there versus in Guatemala earlier this year. I was able to keep pace with Mike during the early ends and get that advantage. And once someone's behind in a match or tied in a match, you see those thoughts of doubt creep into their head. The demons say, well, what if you miss? Your logical mind starts an argument with it where it's like, well, we don't miss, that's not what we do. It's a sprint, a 15-arrow sprint. It's what, 1/6, 1/7 of a qualification round. So those who are able to come out to a fast start tend to win because they get that edge early and they get the other person doubting themselves.
But Mike Schlusser just needs a 6 to take the tie.
Shooting really good until like my last arrow, I kind of flopped it around a bit. But I was generally really happy that I won there. I used to have a lot of like some bad arrows, and I moved up from some bad arrows into the final to just make like a bad last shot. You would get a lot of hate from people because I shot an 8, for example, to win the match. And then I went to the next final. Don't shoot an 8 because then you get the hate, you know. And then of course what you're gonna do, shoot an 8, you know.
And how do you get out of that?
Deleting Facebook.
I believe I have an edge in my form and my technique and my mental game. I'm sure that there are others that rival me in each individual capacity, but I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe I was the best.
I see myself like I was one of the most consistent ones that made it there. Like I've made like podium on all the tournaments, so I think that yeah, that makes myself kind of favorite role. But I think it's going to be like a snap of like the moment, who's going to be the best at the moment. It's a very short 15 arrows, and like just one mistake can cost you the victory.
Josef Bošacký, Slovensko. Matthias Fullerton, Denmark. Adrien Gontier, France.
Federico Pagnoni, Italy.
Chris Schaff, the United States.
Abhishek Verma, India.
Mike Schlosser, the Netherlands.
Braden Galantine, Team USA.
4 top quality quarterfinal contests lay ahead. The first quarterfinal looked like an uphill task for the French World Cup final debutant Adrien Gontier. He was up against Mr. Perfect himself, world number 1, Mike Schlosser, who meant business.
Schlosser puts it into the 10 and books his place in the semi-finals here in Yankton.
It was youth versus experience in quarterfinal 2, and Denmark's 18-year-old Matthias Fullerton got the better of 45-year-old Slovakian Josef Plzeňský.
And it is a 10, a beautiful finish from him.
Quarterfinal 3 was arguably the toughest of them all. The USA's Braden Galantine taking on India's Abhishek Verma. And on home soil, it was Galantine who proved too strong.
Straight into the X for a perfect 30.
Second seed Chris Schaff of the USA was up against points qualifier Federico Pagnoni in the remaining quarterfinal. And Schaff took full advantage of a slow start by the Italian.
A 9 is required for the win. Hasn't shot below that, and he's just about clipped the 9, done enough to take it by a single point.
2 mouth-watering semi-finals were in prospect. The first semi-final featured the world number 1 against the world number 2, Mike Schlusser taking on Matthias Fullerton. And the young Dane kept the pressure on right until the final end.
Mikey Schlosser goes to 119, stays a point ahead of his rival.
But nothing was going to disrupt Mr. Perfect's progress to the final.
And it's right in the 10, and what a grouping to finish on, giving him a huge amount of confidence.
Semi-final 2 was an all-American affair in Yankton, with Braden Galantine taking on Chris Schaff. And it was in the third end that the gap opened up. Galantine got himself back into contention with 2 perfect ends, and all the pressure ended up back on his compatriot.
Strong, bud. Good, strong shot.
A 10 required to force the shoot-off now. Oh, he needs to let go of this one. He's dropped it into the 9, and from a winning position, Chris Schaff has put in 2 9s in the 5th end.
Chris Schaff had to lift himself to go again. he was fighting it out for a podium spot with Matthias Fullerton in the bronze medal match, which came down to a shoot-off.
Oh my goodness.
He's going to have to be right in the middle.
Oh.
It's not quite. It's a very, very good shot, though. Just, I mean, millimetres out, but it does mean Chris Schaff has taken this one to the wire, but done it with an incredible arrow in the shoot-off.
What a compound final we had in prospect. World number one was looking for an historic third circuit title, facing home favourite Braden Gelantine of the USA in a repeat of the gold medal match at the last World Cup final in 2019. We joined the action at the start of the third end, and Braden Gelantine looked rattled after dropping 2 points in the second.
He's shaking his head still. The body language is not conducive to high-level shooting. Gelantine start in 3 of this gold medal match, and oh, that is going to go for a measure for sure. They've actually marked it as a 10. Oh, no wonder.
I think it's a 10.
Well, the experts think it's 10. I'm going to stick my neck on the line and say I think that's going for a measure. Solid recovery.
He wasn't happy with that shot, the reaction, but straight in there.
Oh dear, another one from Gelantine. It's starting to get away from him. Another perfect from Mr. Perfect. And that one looks close, and has that been marked for a measure? It has.
What's that pinky?
For those of you that don't know what a pinky is, it's the little finger. It's a technical archery term, obviously.
It's the one you point out when you drink your tea, Karen.
Well, if only someone would make me a cup of tea. Good finish there, a 29 for a 115. Provisionally still on for a perfect here. We wait for the measure on the first one. This arrow's gone into the 10, so we could be looking at 119, 115. For now, we wait for the measure, and it stays at 118. 115 there for Gelantine, and there it is confirmed as a 118 for Mike Schlusser, and that one's gone left, and it's not even like these 9s are going in the same place.
You know, that shot looked nice, his rotation of his hand looked clean, and he was like, what is going on here? Why is it still going left?
Well, start of the 5th and he's still in trouble. Gelantine came into it trailing by 3, it's now 4. Pushes that one into the 10, but shaking his head, he's not happy. He's settled on silver here. Last arrow of the season for Braden Gelantine for a 144, a 7 for back-to-back titles, and a history-making third. Oh, look at the class of Mike Schlusser here. Back-to-back Hyundai Archery World Cup final crowns for him. following up from the win in Moscow against Braden Gelantine. He's done it again.
The World Cup final, it's because the 8 best people in the world that year come together to compete. So, winning this puts a lot of I think for me it means a lot because I know that the 8 best archers are here. So winning from them means a lot for me.
Mike Schlosser then finished top of the final rankings. The USA were second and third with Braden Gelantine and Chris Schaff, and a very creditable 4th place for the young Dane, Matthias Fullerton. That brings to a close the 2021 Hyundai Archery World Cup season, which has been full of big moments and high on drama throughout. The climax here in Yankton, USA, saw Colombian Sara Lopez claim a record 6th Hyundai Archery World Cup champion title, while Dutchman Mike Schlosser created his own piece of history when he became the only compound man to ever win 3 World Cup final golds. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again in 2022.